Imagine a young boy standing in the cold of a Brooklyn housing project, watching his father, a factory worker, lying on the floor with a broken leg, no insurance, no paycheck, no help. That boy didn't just see pain. He saw the cruelty of a system that didn't care about ordinary people. One day, that boy would grow up to build one of the most beloved brands on earth, a place that stood for warmth, community, and care. His name was Howard Schultz. And this is the story of how a boy from the projects built Starbucks, a $100 billion global empire, not from wealth, but from empathy. Howard Schultz was born in 1953 in Brooklyn, New York. His family lived in the Bayview housing projects, one of the poorest neighborhoods in the city. His father, Fred Schultz, was a blue-collar worker, a truck driver, a factory hand, a man who worked wherever he could. But no matter how hard he worked, it was never enough. We never owned a car, Howard would later recall. We didn't even own our own home. My father never made more than $20,000 a year. As a kid, Howard felt invisible, just another child in a forgotten corner of the city. But deep inside, he carried something that poverty couldn't crush, a hunger to break free. One winter day, when Howard was 7 years old, his father slipped on ice and broke his ankle while working as a delivery driver. There was no compensation, no sick pay, no job protection. Overnight, the Schultz family had nothing. Howard never forgot that image. His proud father, helpless and broken, betrayed by a company that treated him as disposable. That moment ignited a silent fire in him. Someday, he promised himself, I'll build a company that treats people like human beings. But dreams alone don't feed families. So Howard worked hard. He got a football scholarship to Northern Michigan University. He was the first in his family to go to college. When he graduated, he didn't have connections or money, but he had drive. In 1981, while working for a company called Schultz noticed something strange. A small coffee shop in Seattle was ordering an unusually large number of coffee makers. Curious, he flew there to find out why. The shop was called Starbucks. It wasn't a cafe, yet just a little store selling coffee beans and equipment. But the smell, the people, the passion for quality coffee, it fascinated him. He saw something the owners didn't. A lifestyle experience, not just a product. This isn't about coffee, he thought. It's about connection, about a moment of peace in a busy world. That moment changed his life forever. Howard convinced Starbucks founders to hire him as their marketing director. But soon, conflict arose. On a trip to Italy, Howard discovered espresso bars, vibrant, social spaces where people gathered every morning to share stories and life. He wanted to bring that culture to America. But the founders disagreed. We're in the business of selling coffee beans, they said, not cafes. So Howard made the hardest decision of his life. He quit. He started his own company, Il Giornale, inspired by the Italian cafe experience. It wasn't easy. Investors laughed at him. Banks turned him down. He went door to door, pitching his dream to anyone who would listen. One investor said, coffee, that's not a business. That's a hobby. But Schultz didn't stop. Finally, a handful of believers gave him a chance. Il Giornale opened, and it was a hit. When Starbucks went up for sale in 1987, Howard saw his opportunity. He gathered all his courage and bought the entire company for $3.8 million. Howard Schultz once said, "Success is best when it's shared." He didn't just sell coffee, he sold hope, a belief that no matter where you come from, your past doesn't define your future. He proved that empathy can be the core of a billion-dollar company, and that the most powerful business decisions are made with the heart. So the next time you walk into a Starbucks and hold that warm cup in your hand, remember the boy from the projects who built it from nothing. Let his journey remind you that your circumstances are not your destiny. You don't need to be born rich. You just need to believe fiercely in your own story, because sometimes the greatest empires begin with a single cup of courage. If this story moved you, share it. Someone out there might just need this reminder today.